Hello again, guys. It's SK Antiques here, back again with another video. Today I'm making something that I wish was on YouTube when I started working on these Westclox Style 8 baby bend movements. I really wish this video existed sooner, but it doesn't, so here we are. Lots of people don't work on these things because they are made in, I think the earliest ones are from 1960, and by that point, you know, the show is kind of over. People aren't really servicing these types of clocks anymore. They're not buying them new and then getting them repaired later, unless it really means something to them. But most jewelers and stuff, they're not gonna help you out with something like this. Or maybe they will. You know, you never know. It depends on which guy you're working with. So, anyway, this baby bend here. Oh, this isn't even a baby bend. This is one of the other models. It's an America with a luminous dial. And apparently this one, this is the oldest one I've had so far. This one is from May of 1965. Nice. Excellent. So this one, unlike some of its later counterparts, is not riveted together, and it's also made of brass, which I'm always happy to see. Now, to get these movements apart, you know, you'd undo the bolts, but before you even do that, you know, you got to get the knobs off. And in the baby bend versions of these, they have a knob in the center, and they usually have a knob over here. In most cases, the center knob can be pried off with a couple of screwdrivers. If you have to heat it up with a soldering iron and put some oil in it, you know, no harm done, as long as you loosen it up to get it off. Now, because this is not out of a baby bend, and this is out of a quote-unquote America, you know, one of the other models, it doesn't have that premium center knob feature that the big bends and the baby bends have. Anyway, so how this works is, in these other models, is you've got this single knob here. You pull it back, you set the time, and you let it, you know, go forward, and then you can set the alarm. It's the exact same movement. They've just engineered it a bit differently, but it's literally the exact same mechanism. And it's specifically on this version of this movement that are the ones with the knob here that I have struggled with for years. And you've seen me on YouTube. If you've watched me long enough, you'll know that this has taken forever to figure out how to properly do this without damaging these movements. If you were to try and go at this, prying this knob off, you were... like the pallet fork, oh geez, I'm out of focus. Let's try that again. The pallet fork pivot is right there. The escapement pivot is right there. This is not that, I mean, this is nickel plated brass, but it's still not that thick. You know, you don't want to be really prying up against that if you can avoid it. With this one, I'm sure you could get away with it, but on some of the later ones, if it's from 1972, you know, and it's still bolted together and it has metal knobs, you may bend the aluminum out of shape, and that's what they changed these to later on. They started making these out of aluminum. The other side really offers us no help either. You've got this big chunky pinion there, but I mean, look where it's at. It's in this little recessed bridge there to interact with the slip clutch. There's a gear there in the middle as like a spacer, and I think this moves the hands as well. This is part of the motion work. But you pull this down, and you can't quite see it, but it's interacting with the slip clutch. And you can see that main shaft is rotating there. This is what we'd use to set the time. I think you can see, there's the slip clutch. You can see it right in there, the pinion for that. Right on the left-hand side there, you can see it in there, moving as I move everything around. You know, this is a good design. Like, it's not cheap crap necessarily, but it's just a miserable thing to service. So you're probably thinking, how do you get this apart? How do you take this knob off? Because you really, you know, if you unbolt these plates and you let all the wheels fall out, I mean, you don't really get, this is still kind of stuck together, and it's just, you can't really, I don't know, it's not a good situation. It really isn't. So I'm going to show you what years of wrecking these things has taught me. That's right, we did learn something. We did get something out of all this strife and all the movements with broken pallet fork pivots and bent out of shape plates and stuff like that. We did learn something from all of this. And it's way simpler than I thought it would be. And I tried this completely by accident. I was working with one of these one day, and my latest method that I had come up with hadn't worked for disassembling these. And I just grabbed, an idea just randomly came to my head, and I just went, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to try that. And surely enough, it actually was successful. So there we are. What we're going to need here is a pair of lineman's pliers and a clamp like this. Put some electrical tape in there so I don't scratch it all up. Oh yeah, this is really, I think everyone has this stuff lying around. I was doing stuff with chains and trying to lever the thing. Oh my gosh, I was trying to build like a special jig to get this thing apart properly. Yeah, it was not a good state of affairs that I was in. I really wanted to work on these. These are fun, these are plentiful, they're cheap, they're absolutely everywhere. And you know, they're cool movements. And you know what? These things, once you work on them, they are really decent. And even before you work on them, they're fairly decent. Most of them still run, at least in the 2020s they do. I can't say, 20, 30 years from now if these are going to be in any working condition, but a lot of the time, you'll pick these up at a flea market or, wherever, and they're still ticking. You'll wind it up and they'll still be ticking. So, I mean, that accounts for something. The Style 9 bends are also like that. Most of them are still working from what I can see. So what we're going to do here, okay, guess I need more. Okay, we're going to stick that back on there. You can already tell where this is going as I knock my tripod over. Goodness sake, I'm just having a hard time getting this tape on here. No wonder I struggled to get these knobs off, eh? Okay. I don't know if that's really going to be of any use at all. And apparently it's just not. Hold on. Okay, as I've been putting tape on this clamp here, I've just had or a vice grip, sorry, that's what they're called. I've just had a thought here. The VACC, Vintage Alarm Clock Club YouTube channel, has been working with me for about the same amount of time to try and figure out how to properly disassemble these. He has a different method than I do to do this. That method was devised before the one I'm about to show you. And that one, the knobs he's in the United Kingdom, the knobs on the Scottish Westclox that are, made in Scotland, they have a different style of knob on there, which I think might be held on a bit different, but I mean, we'll see what happens, I guess. I have not tested this on one of the British, Scottish, whatever, Scottish technically. I've not tested this method on that. So anyway, we got the pinion in the clamp there, and we've got our lineman's pliers on the other side. And if I can do this without completely shredding the knob up, one of these is going to come off. Either it's going to be the pinion or it's going to be the knob. And let's try to, I might put more tape on this actually. This is one of those operations where you knock the camera over, and this is one of those operations where you could very easily scratch stuff. I have not done this with tape before, so bear with me on that. I spilled Evapo-Rust all over the bench here yesterday. I had a jar and the lid wouldn't come off, and when it did come off, it went absolutely everywhere. I'm still dealing with somewhat sticky tools here and stuff. So, oh man, I don't want to waste everyone's time here, but just having issues here today. Okay, we're going to try this with more tape. Again, trying to protect all the brass on everything. Or in later cases, it would be, I think the knobs are made of steel, but this method still works with that. And you know what? We might even have to heat this up to get this off. But oh yeah, I've scratched it up a little bit. Okay, well, I mean, that doesn't really matter too much because it's not really visible anyway. And it's not the end of the world either way. Oh, okay, there we go. The knob is moving independently of the shaft. There we go. That's what we want. Okay. Hey, okay, the pinion came off this time. In this case. Usually it's the other way around. Okay, there's a spring that oh, there she is. Okay, it's just, the spring has fallen out of view here, but that little spring there, if you saw me put it up, that holds this whole crazy thing together. Or it doesn't hold it together, sorry. It gives it tension to, you know, move up backwards and forwards like it does. There we go. That's what I wanted to show you right there. I wish I had known about that years ago. A pair of vice grips like that. I didn't even have to heat this up or oil it or anything. That was it. And no plates damaged. No pinions scratched up. Let's see if it is actually has any damage to it. Oh, it's got a couple of bite marks in it. Okay, well, I mean, it's not gonna... That's really not going to, you know, impact this. But I think this is the way. For disassembling these, this has got to be the way. Yeah, the teeth are just a bit scratched on that. Let's take a closer look at that. I don't know. What about you guys? I thought electrical tape would be kind of, but maybe not. Maybe it's not thick enough. I mean, it worked on this side. There's really nothing else to grip onto, and I guess because this is such a thick... It's the duality of the situation. This is such a thick pinion that it's so hard to get off. And the second half of it is it's such a thick pinion that, you know, with this method, you can do this and not completely... You can do this and not destroy the gear. That's a piece of steel right there. Why am I not in focus at all in this video? Holy mackerel, guys. Yeah, not the completely cleanest way. I'll have to try and put other materials on these vice grips, because that is the way. That is how we're going to be doing this, I think. Unless one of you has a better idea. Here's the knob. Again, a bit scratched, but not too bad. I mean, that's leagues better than what we had even 7 or 8 months ago with this. We could not get these apart without the pallet fork pivot getting snapped off, or, you know, some ridiculous thing going down every which way. So that's what I have to show you. And now I will disassemble this movement. I will clean it up, and that'll be the end of that clock right there. That'll be where it'll go next. I'll probably have to do some cosmetics on this one. The crystal is all messed up. But yeah, that's my grand knob removal strategy, alarm knob. And I mean, with the versions of this that don't have that spring, you know, same principle, do it the same way. The ones that have the knob in the middle, you know, you can just basically pry that off with heat and oil, and then you're set. So anyway, hope somebody learned something there. And yeah, that's the method for now.